What's up, everybody? Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 16 of my favorite 30 rock solo albums of all time. We're counting down each and every day here in November 2023, 30 days in a month, our 30 favorite solo albums from prominent guys or gals from pretty prominent bands, right? That went off, did a solo album. Not so much a band album, but a solo record. Today, for this particular pick, number 16. So this is an artist that I knew I had to have on this list. But the problem is, most of his solo albums are really, it's band albums. Not this one, though. This one there's no band in the title. It's listed just under his name, and really this is just him doing a much, much more personal album. It's got a lot of different styles on it, a lot of different textures, and he's got a whole bunch of friends joining him on this album. But it is his third official studio album as kind of like a solo entity outside of his normal band. Released May 1st, 1989, recorded at MOR Studios in Cheshire Sound in Atlanta, Georgia. Produced by the man himself for MCA Records I'm talking about. That's right. High Tension Wires by Mr. Steve Morse. So this is not the Steve Morse Band. Steve Morse Band is a band, right? That's the band he put together after the demise of the Dixie Dregs, his main group at the time, right? And when he went out solo, he put together, it's going to be a band with bass player and a drummer and myself, and we're going to go out and we're going to make a band, right? This was a break from that little band, right? He had the first two albums as the Steve Morse Band, then he put this album out. Of course, had his little stint in Kansas right around this time as well, and then decided to put the Steve Morse Band back together again going forward, right before he joined Deep Purple. But this is really a solo record. Of course, he cut his hair and everything, right? This is after he played with Kansas, did the old aviation, flying planes type of thing, and decided I wanted to get back to making music. Thankfully, he did. Right, so like I said, 1989. Who is on this album? Steve Morse, of course, the man himself, on acoustic and electric guitars, synthesizer, did the production, the mixing, engineering, the whole shebang. He's got his old buddy from the Dregs on board, T. Lavitz, keyboards, synthesizer, and piano. You got Rod Morgenstein, of course, also from the Dregs, also from the early version of the Steve Morse Band on drums. You got Jerry Peake on bass from the early version of the Steve Morse Band. Andy West is also on bass from the Dixie Dregs. Alan Sloan from the Dixie Dregs on violin, and a couple other guys helping out in the studio with him here. But this particular album is very different from most of the other Steve Morse Band albums in that those are more kind of electrified, rock-oriented instrumental albums filled with all sorts of ferocious playing and, ridiculous complexity, a mix of what do you call Steve Morse, the music of Steve Morse puts together. It's rock, it's fusion, it's progressive rock, it's southern rock, it's little bits of countrified stuff. It's a little bit of everything. Hard to pigeonhole it. It's just instrumental guitar music, right? But this album, much, much more delicate. A lot of acoustic tones on this album. This is this is a much more personal album, less about a band trying to show their stuff. This is about Steve showing you all the different things that he can do. There's kind of folky stuff on here. There is kind of like country and bluegrass stuff on here. There's certainly blistering rock on here. There's a little bit of fusion and pop melodies and all sorts of stuff. A little bit. It's not really blues. Steve's not much of a blues player, but there's little elements here and there. Just very, very sophisticated, just pleasant sounding, even new agey stuff on here, really, when you think about it. But loads of great guitar work, both acoustic and electric. I think this was never my favorite Steve Morse album, like on a solo type of thing. But this is easily his most well-rounded album. And really, there's this and there's the Major Impact albums, which really are his only true solo albums, right? All the others are band albums. But I remember when this first came out, I loved it because it just had so much, great material and so many different textures and tones and things on it. And there's a little bit of everything here. So you got Ghost Wind, which opens it up, just gorgeous. There's little hints of this like Celtic prog on this album as well. Ghost Wind is great. The Road Home, a little more rock and country colors and Highland Wedding. both have those kind of, like I said, those little bluegrassy and country flavors, right? A little bit of southern rock type of thing. Lots of nice back and forth between acoustic and electric. The tones are great. The production is really warm and inviting on this album. Then you got Third Power, which is probably the first instance on the album where we get more kind of like anthemic rock type stuff, which we would hear quite a bit actually on all the Steve Morse Band albums to follow. Looking Back, another more kind of introspective kind of, again, very melodic piece. Leprechaun Promenade runs the gamut of all the things we've talked about. It's the longest track on the album. It's got all sorts of intricate playing and textures and chordal things and really, really nice stuff. But again, it's kind of got that little bit of country bluegrass type of thing going on there, along with that eclectic, like Celtic prog. Then, of course, there's Too Many Notes, which is my favorite song on the album. Gee, what a surprise, Pete. Too Many Notes is just a blistering barrage of notes and absolutely crazy, crazy playing. Excuse me one second. It's always tough when the first amount of talking I do in the morning is to all you guys, because literally I record these so early in the morning after I wake up, so it's just like between allergies and just talking for the first time, it's like, I'm just firing off stuff here. Too Many Notes is just amazing. If you want to hear Steve Morse at his absolutely blistering best, well, that's the song you go listen to. Endless Waves and Modoc finished the album. Modoc is gorgeous. That's just like a solo guitar piece. Really, really wonderful. This is a really lovely album. Like I said, I have other favorite albums that Steve Morse has done as a leader, but those are, like the Introduction and Coast to Coast. Those are my two favorite Steve Morse Band albums. But Steve Morse as a solo artist, you can't beat this one. You really can't. It's just a beautiful, beautiful album. And chart performance here. Just here in the States, it did make the charts, believe it or not. 1989, made the Billboard Top 200, peaked at number 182. Not too shabby for an all-instrumental album, but not quite up to the standards we would start to see for like Vi and Satriani and folks like that, right? But still not too bad, right? For a guy, really kind of away from the scene for a little bit, right? Did a stint in Kansas, then he kind of disappeared for a while, but after this, he was back full-time. So, and of course, I don't believe there were any singles released on this album. No, there were not. So, so a really, really cool album from Mr. Steve Morse. Let us know what you think of this album down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, pick number 16. And we'll see you tomorrow for number 15, top 15. Here we go. Strap yourselves in. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, get the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. Thanks in advance for all your support there. Stay tuned for a new album review day here on the channel. Should have a couple of them for you anyway. I just noticed, geez, I'm wearing my brand new blue shirt, and it looks like it made everything else blue in the camera frame. I tried to deal with the colors, but it's just everything else. It's bleeding blue here today, right? So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Pete Pardo. See you tomorrow for pick number 15. Take care. Bye-bye.